What's up guys, welcome to a new episode of Filmmaking Friday. Today we're going to talk all about aspect ratios. Filmmaking Friday. Welcome back. Today we're going to dive into the world of aspect ratios, where different aspect ratios come from and which style you can achieve with the different aspect ratios. So let's dive right in. Aspect ratios are usually written as two numbers divided with a colon, like 16:9 or 4:3. The first number represents the width and the second number the height. Different aspect ratios have different uses and each can give your video a distinct look. Let's start with the most common aspect ratio, 16:9. It's the standard for most modern video content, including YouTube, streaming platforms and HDTV. 16:9 is perfect for online content as it fills the entire screen on most devices. It's also the standard aspect ratio for HDTV, making it ideal for broadcasting and streaming. Because it's so widely used, your content will look good across different platforms without needing much adjustment. Whether you're creating tutorials, vlogs or professional video content, 16:9 is a reliable choice. However, if you're aiming for a cinematic look, 16:9 may be a little flat or standard compared to wider aspect ratios used in film. Next up we have 4:3, which was the standard aspect ratio for TV and film before widescreen became popular. 4:3 nowadays is great for creating a nostalgic or retro vibe. It's often used in documentaries, music videos and films that want to evoke a sense of history or old school style. Some social media content also uses 4:3 as it fills more of the screen on mobile devices compared to 16:9. While it can work for stylistic purposes, 4:3 doesn't fill widescreen displays, so it might look out of place on modern TVs or online platforms where 16:9 is the norm. If you're going for a true cinematic feel, 21:9 or 2.35:1 is the right choice. This ultra-wide aspect ratio is commonly used in Hollywood films. 21:9 is perfect for narrative films as it gives the cinematic widescreen experience that moviegoers are used to. It provides a wider field of view, making it great for epic landscapes and dramatic storytelling. Even if you're not making a feature film, using 21:9 can instantly give your video a high-end cinematic feel. It's often used in music videos, short films and commercials to add drama. Keep in mind that 21:9 may not be compatible with all devices and platforms, so on some screens you'll end up with black bars above and below the video, which may not be ideal for all types of content, but a lot of people nowadays have 21:9 screens for maybe gaming or just a wider field of view on your computer space if you don't want to use several screens but just one large screen. If you now want to watch your cinematic video in full on a 21:9 monitor, it's important that you have your video sequence set to true 21:9 or 2.35:1. Now that means having your video sequence and final video really in that cinematic aspect ratio when it comes to the pixels and not just having 16:9 with a PNG slapped onto it. Because then it won't use the entire 21:9 screen, not just have black bars above and below, but also some huge black bars on the side, because it's basically a 16:9 video cutting off the sides and then the black bars, making it a small image on a 21:9 monitor. Another popular aspect ratio for films is 1.85:1. It's slightly wider than 16:9 but not as extreme as 21:9. 1.85:1 is also commonly used for feature films, offering a good balance between width and height. It's wide enough to feel cinematic but still works well on standard screens without large black bars. It's also a great choice for documentaries and dramas where you want a cinematic look but don't want to lose too much vertical space in the frame. While 1.85:1 provides a more cinematic look than 16:9, you may still notice some letterboxing on certain screens. And of course you have a lot of different aspect ratios in between, like for example Cinemascope, which is 2.39:1, but you can basically create any aspect ratio. For example, in Taylor Swift's music video from 2012, I Knew You Were Trouble, they used a 3.58:1 aspect ratio, which is basically just a thin line. What do you think about this aspect ratio? Isn't that cinematic? So let's continue and switch things up with 9:16. This is the most common vertical video format used for mobile content. 9:16 is basically 16:9, just the other way around. It's ideal for social media platforms like Instagram stories, TikToks and YouTube shorts. Since it's designed for vertical viewing, it makes the most out of the screen real estate on mobile devices. If your target audience primarily watches on smartphones, vertical video can make your content feel more engaging and immersive. However, 9:16 doesn't work well at all for traditional widescreen displays like TVs or computer monitors. If you're planning to repurpose your content for multiple platforms, you might need to shoot with both vertical and horizontal formats in mind. Or you just use, last but not least, 1:1, a square aspect ratio. 1:1 is commonly used for social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram, even though Instagram now switched away from its traditional 1:1 square aspect ratio, which makes me really mad. It's still a great choice for videos that will primarily be viewed on mobile devices. You can also have very beautiful compositions in square format content. right here. The square format works across both horizontal and vertical viewing, making it versatile for different screen orientations. However, 1:1 will most definitely leave large black bars left and right on a wide screen or above and below on vertical screens. So how do you choose the right aspect ratio? Here are some tips that will help you. First, platform requirements. Think about where your video will be displayed. If it's for YouTube or TV, 16:9 is the safest choice. For social media, you might want to go with 9:16 or 1:1. Also, the desired aesthetic. If you're aiming for a cinematic look, go for something like 21:9. For a classic or nostalgic vibe, 4:3 might be the way to go. Here you can also again do fake aspect ratios to be safe on most displays. This means you start with a 16:9 composition in the post-production and then overlay or crop your footage to the desired aspect ratio. This will save your aspect ratio from being cropped or distorted. I've had this several times on planes where I watched 21:9 movies on a 4:3 screen, and sometimes they just crop in, so a lot of the details on the sides of the footage is lost, or they just squeeze it like this, so everything's distorted. I provided you down below with a free download for a pack where you have most aspect ratios as an overlay for a 16:9 timeline. Now that's it for today's episode on aspect ratios. I really hope you found it informative and useful. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below in the comments or hit me up on Instagram or any of my socials and I will be sure to answer them. In the next episode, we're going to talk about the right tripod for your filmmaking equipment arsenal. So subscribe so you don't miss it. See you next time. Goodbye.